Greetings everyone and welcome to today's webinar, Implementing a New QMS Improvement System. Great to have you all here with us. I am Shawn Mehmeti, Marketing Manager for Quality Management System here at PECB and organizer of this webinar. This webinar will be presented by PECB Certified Trainer and Managing Director of MMCAFRICA, Mr. George Ogoti. Please feel free to write your question and comments in the question box in the right-hand control panel, or you can use the raise hand function. We will unmute you and you will have a chance to ask question directly to Mr. Ogoti. All of the other questions will be answered accordingly at the end of the presentation. Please, Mr. Ogoti, you may continue with the presentation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shawn. I want to welcome all the attendees to today's webinar, Implementing a New Quality Management System Improvement System. It's based on the ISO 9001 2015 version. If you look at the requirements of the standard, on clause number 10 of the new revised ISO 9001 2015, the title is Improvement. The sub-clauses to this clause number 10 is 10.1 General, 10.2 Non-conformity and Corrective Action, 10.3 Continual Improvement. It gives you an action to act so that you can improve your QMS. So my presentation will be based mainly on 10.1 General and 10.3 on Continual Improvement. I'll just highlight a few aspects of non-conformity and the taking corrective action. The sub-clause which I want to look at is now is 10.3 of the main clause of ISO 9001 2015, clause 10. The sub-clause 10.3 is based and is titled Continual Improvement. The requirement states that an organization, your organization or any other organization, must determine one, and after determine, select opportunities for improvement. Once you select these opportunities for improvement of the QMS, you should implement any actions you have taken, either corrective actions or corrections or risk management, not only to meet customer requirements, but also to enhance customer satisfaction level or indices. So this subclause 10.3 is based on the continual improvement. So first of all, you determine and select opportunities for improvement. And after that, you implement. These actions will include improving products and the services to meet requirements, customer requirements or legal requirements or statutory requirements or regulatory requirements. These actions should include addressing future needs and expectations of customers. These actions should include correcting, preventing or reducing undesired effects on the products and the services. These actions should include improving the performance of the QMS, not only improving the performance of the QMS, but improving the effectiveness of the quality management system based on ISO 9001 2015 version. Examples would include correction, corrective action, continual improvement, a breakthrough change in the system, to be innovative or you come up with innovations, and reorganizing and the organizations or the structures within the organization. These examples will give you continuous improvement programs for products and the services. We'll take you through this to give more examples. Just to remind right away what we have just said is that these improvements of the QMS and these actions you will take the listed above, the correction, the corrective action, the preventive action, the innovation, are taken not only to meet these customer requirements, but also to enhance customer satisfaction. And these improvement actions not only improve products and the services from your organization, from my organization, to meet the requirements, but also to address future needs and expectations of customers. Just a reminder. The systems you may use for improvement are classified into 4. System approach, methodologies. You can have tools for improvement, or you can innovate technologies for improvement. These systems have been used to improve our QMS. Approaches, which will give you examples, methodologies, tools, and any technology available for improving the QMS. These approaches not only isolate issues, but also they help you to find solutions to the QMS. These approaches, the ones you have listed above, they become normally the catalyst or the engine for specific changes to your technology, to your processes. And remember, the process is an activity which requires resources for transforming inputs to outputs. Roles, job descriptions, or organizational structures. What are they? Well, there are components which are 3 based on the system approaches for improvements. And normally we classify them into either delivery of the product, how the product has been delivered, which method has been used, and the services. The design of the product and the service, and the management system in place. If you use these 3 components for the systemic or system approach for the QMS improvement, it will make a big difference to the customer and provide a lasting effect to the services and the products we provide. Let's look at the 3 approaches. 1, we have the process improvement, whereby you improve your process, acronymed as PCI. What does that mean? It means you receive requests from customers, you review these requirements of the customers, and look at their needs and expectations. Then you cascade downwards the customer requirements, which is inclusive of the needs and expectations, to various functions and levels within the organizations. Not only to cascade the requirements, but translate the same requirements to actionable items so that the process of improvement can start. This way, the PCI, acronym for the process improvement, not only improves your methods, and you can also see the operational efficiencies and effectiveness. Even you can do a measurement based on performance indicators. So you have an improvement within the process once you look at the requirements from customers or different sources of requirements. You determine and review these requirements, their needs and expectations. Thereafter, you cascade these requirements to various functions and levels within your organizations. And you can translate these requirements to actionable or actions itemized. You will see improvement in operational efficiency and effectiveness of the QMS. Number 2 is the product improvement, PDI. So we have PCI and followed by the PDI. We want to see product improvements. Well, if you do, the PDI gives you kind of engineering so that unnecessary costs can be removed from the designing of a product or a service. How do we do that? You identify the function or the intention or the intent of the product and service, then understand the design context. You develop alternatives to the product or services, and number 4, then you implement the plan which have developed the same alternatives for this designing of the product and the service. It's a total engineering concept. We call it BDI, product improvement. What you need to do here, you can have several teams, teamworks, for example, people or personnel from planning, from sales, from finance department or accounts department, from administration, from procurement, from the production side. You can have designing people. You can even have external providers. We used to call them suppliers. You can have your customers come together and examine systematically how the product you have designed performs the function of their own requirements, and not only those requirements, but even addressing the future needs, because here we are looking at the engineering of a product to cut down unnecessary costs during the design. So teams work better. It's an improvement of the QMS, where you get different teams coming together and examining, finding out how products will perform on a performance to the functions of the requirements of the customers, and not only the customers' requirements, but also addressing the future needs. We call it a total concept of engineering for the QMS. So you have number 2.2 there is product improvement, PDI. We had process improvement, PCI. Now we have product improvement, we call it PDI. It's engineering. The third one is MPI. MPI is management practices improvement. This is the basis for the personnel activity and efforts within an organization. And this gives you a chance whereby people interact. The personnel will interact within the organization. They share personal experiences, not only within the organization, but also capturing the global practices by benchmarking. You can benchmark your practices within the organization. And not only that, it gives you theoretical backgrounds whereby any emerging solutions as an organization, you mature up on management practices. So this is one improvement part you can do to the new QMS concept of ISO 9001 2015. So we have got the PCI process, we have got the product, PMI, and MPI, the management practice. The totality of the three, which will give you a new approach to QMS improvement. What we have done, we have combined PCI and the PDI and MPI. It gives you a new improvement structure for the QMS as a totality. So you use the process, you use the product improvements, and you use the management practice. If you can combine the three, then you have a new systematic approach to the quality management system improvement, improving an organization XYZ as a totality. And this has worked. I'll give you more examples. How do you use them? The three, using the PCI process plus PDI product plus MPI, the management practice. One is that you identify functional areas. These functional areas, their actions which they take will impact on other groups within the organization and on the entire QMS for the organization. So you look at the actions they do in different levels and different functions. Number two, You set a group which will investigate any actions which can benefit the entire QMS. They do investigations on the actions taken, and this will benefit you in the entire quality management system in your organization. You can have another group, number 3, whereby they identify the risks, dangers which are introduced to the QMS. You remember the ISO 9001-2015 is risk-based approach. So you have another group not only identifying the dangers of risk, but the introduction of the same risks to the QMS in the functional areas. You could set up another group, number 4. In which the other group will be checking the performance of that area in order for the entire system to improve. So what are we saying here? We are saying you have 3 groups. One, investigating actions to benefit QMS entirely in the organization. Group number 2 would be identifying the risks introduced to the system. Another group, number 3, would be checking the performance on the optimum scale for each functional area so that you can have the entire system to improve. If these 3 can work independently, but they have to depend on one another to give you a forward movement on PCI plus PDI plus MPI. What they will be doing, each group will be investigating. One group investigates, another group identifies, another group checks the performance of the QMS within the functional areas. So you set aside the functional areas, look at the actions which can impact on the other groups and the entire QMS. This way, and they work together as a team, this way you use the PCI to improve the QMS. Just to remind ourselves that apart from the 10.3, which we will recap later, there's also non-conformities and the corrective actions which you have to treat on a routine basis. This includes any complaints, that one is there, and taking appropriate actions to not only to control, but also correct it, but also deal with the consequences of any non-conformity. And then you do an evaluation of the need for the action to eliminate the root cause of the problem so that it does not recur or occur anywhere else. This used to be the preventive side, by reviewing and analyzing the non-conformities, determining the causes of the non-conformity, and determining if similar non-conformities exist or could potentially occur. This is also an improvement, but there is supporting the PCI plus the BDI plus the MPI as improvements to the system. These are requirements of the standard which you have to do, but when this will support the other subclass 10.2. I'm not forgetting, sorry, 10.3. I'm not forgetting that you need to look at that you have to implement the actions you have already taken. You have to update any risks and opportunities you have determined during the planning stages, and make changes also to the QMS. And in 10.22, the organization then must retain, like mandatory, documented information as evidence of any non-conformity and any actions you have taken and the results of any corrective action. These subclasses here of 10.2 is supporting the 10.3, the one we have given you as a new QMS improvement action points. Remember the PCI plus the BDI plus the MPI. So let's go back to 10.3 again, just to recap. 10.3 then tells us this is a continual improvement. What does that mean? The organization must continually improve the suitability, the adequacy, and the effectiveness of the QMS. The organization then must consider the results of analysis and evaluation and the outputs from management review to determine if there are needs or opportunities that must be addressed as part of the continued improvement. So this 10.3 now is the one we split and we gave you the underlying new ways of improving the QMS, which we shall repeat shortly. So the standard then requires that the organization must react to a non-conformity by first controlling and correcting it, as well as dealing with its consequences. Then determine if similar non-conformities can exist or could potentially occur. Then update those risks and opportunities determined during the planning if necessary. Then make changes to the QMS system where necessary. And then class 2 10.22 adds that the documented information is retained as evidence of the nature of the nonconformity and any actions taken. These are the actions we need to take. Now then, what do you need to consider in QMS improvements? Well, you should be aware of that new improvement system. Are you aware? Is it going to work? What improvement system do you need? What are the risks if not using this improvement system? You will have the PCI, you have the BDI, and you have the MPI. So you need to make people aware of the need of the new system you want to put in your own QMS and in your own organization. You can also, what is the general note of this change? If there's a change in the system, what is the general nature? Is it going to be implemented? What does it mean even if we are using lean manufacturing or the Six Sigmas? What is the desire to participate in this and support the new improvement systems? What are the organizational drivers causing us to bring these new improvement systems? Where do I come in? Do we have the knowledge? What will be my role? That is number 3. What do I need to know to be successful using this new improvement system? The PCI, the BDI, or the MPI? Would I be trained? Yeah, you can be trained on how this system works. Are you able to implement the behaviors and skills required for the new improvement QMS systems? What exactly would I be doing differently as a result of the new system? Would I have a chance to practice it? Where do I get the support? This comes from the top management, which requires to support new systems for improvement of QMS. Then can it be reinforced? Can we sustain it? How long does it work? Would the top management get committed to these new improvement systems for the QMS? Those are things you will do. Then the tools you might have to use will include, if you want to look at capability studies, you look at the designing of the experiments you can do, you do risk analysis, you do the SPCs, you do Six Sigma, you do lean manufacturing. These are just tools. You can do an evaluation of your suppliers, you can do measurement technology, you can look at the effectiveness of equipment you have done, you can look at the equipment, the technology you have done for the equipment, you can benchmark, you can analyze any economics and error proofing in your organizations. With these action points then, you have a new improvement structure within your organization. What you need to do here, just to finalize, is that ensure people who are applying these above tools are competent by true trainings and make them experiential training. Ensure you have the PIs, the performance indicators, which are measurable, to see where you can continually improve, and that can capture the core objectives you have already determined and documented. Ensure the business objectives are based on improved, efficient use of available resources. You can reduce your cost reduction in designing and eventually improve your product quality, not only product quality but also service quality. Situations probably requiring improvements in the systems we have discovered is when you are doing machine setups in manufacture or in production. You are changing the die tools for a new output, for a new designing, maybe machine changeover timings, maybe you want to look at the cycle time of production, maybe you want to scrap off some equipment. These are situations requiring the improvements of PCIs plus BDI plus MPI. You can also look at variations in the process parameters. You can look at process averages which have been not centered on targets. Maybe you have testing requirements which have not been justified by results. So if you select some of these, like also the waste of labor and materials, you have difficulty in productions, you have difficulty in assembling motor vehicles, for example, you have difficulty in installations of new products, you can have accessible handling and storage of materials, etc. At least if you can start looking at these scopes for these situations and apply the PCI, apply plus the BDI, plus the MPI, you have a new improved quality management system within your organization. I wish you all the best, and if there's a question then to this, we are available to give you more insight and answer your various questions on the new improvement of quality management system in your organization and my organization. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Ogoti, for this great presentation. Now we will take some time and answer some of the attendees' questions.
You're most welcome.
Okay, then the first question, Mr. Ogoti, is list us some reason and benefits of new QMS improvement system.
Well, one of the benefits you will get is that the ones that are listed here. If each group can investigate actions to benefit the entire QMS, the other group has already identified the dangers of risk introduction in the QMS. So one of the benefits of this new improvement system is to reduce the danger of risk introduction to the QMS. If you reduce the danger, then you have improved QMS. So one of the benefits. Number two, the other benefit of the new improvement QMS system is improved performances per function, per area, per process, so that the entire then system, function 1, function 2, function 3, the entire system, when they are put together, then you have an improved QMS because they'll be working together. And I'm sure there will be various benefits and even more benefits than this. But one of the outstanding one is a reduction of danger, 2, optimization of performances within the organizations and within not only the organization but the functional area and levels.
We have got another question. From your practical experience, how can quality management system assist on improving a system? An improvement of a system.
That's good. Quality management system is a totality of customer satisfaction. I've already pointed out that we are here and this international standard of the QMS, just want to look at that, gives you a new concept of enhancing customer satisfaction. So by way of reaching out to your customer and looking at the expectations and the needs, you are able to translate or cascade these needs to the functional areas and come up with the actionable items for improvements in your own system, not only to meet the requirements explicitly or imply the requirements of the customer, but also for the future needs and expectations of the same customers. So we are here to enhance customer satisfaction, not only meet the present needs and expectation, but also address future needs and expectation to the customer. Remember, the customer will be internal and external, and they have their own needs and expectations from the organization. So the QMS is a beneficial tool to meet those requirements now and the future expectations and needs. So the QMS is the best tool to use that meeting of those requirements.
Thank you again, Mr. Ogoti, for this clear and informative presentation. I want to thank all the attendees as well for taking the time out of your busy schedules to join us today. We hope you enjoyed the webinar. To keep up with our webinars, please check PECB webinar schedule in our website pecb.com or our official social media network. Next Tuesday, we are hosting a webinar on the topic, what is ICU management system? You can learn from balanced scorecard. Thank you, Mr. Ogoti, for this very informative presentation. Goodbye.
Thank you so much, and see you.